At around 7 years old, my parents took me to the movies. I don't remember what we were supposed to see, but either it was sold out or somebody got the showtime wrong, but the options were leave or head into a showing of John Carpenter's They Live, which was starting relatively soon. So we opted to stay for They Live. I remember my father guffawing at it and mocking it as the wrestler movie, since it stars the late, great Rowdy Roddy Piper. Now, this is 1988, and I'm 7 years old, so I didn't possess the critical thinking skills to be able to accurately digest the film and its message. To me at the time, it was just a super cool alien movie, but I did like it very much, and growing up it became one of my go-to staples which I can just throw on at any time and be cool with it. The film takes place in downtown LA and centers around Piper's character Nada, a drifter just looking for an honest day's pay. He stays with a local homeless camp and gets a gig doing manual labor with David Keith's character Frank. It's just about now that we see a broadcast hacker overriding the local cable signal to try and deliver a message of truth. Now, I'm sure some of you might be saying to yourself, well, that's a little far-fetched. How can you just override a cable signal from your basement? However, just 1 year before the release of They Live, on November 22, 1987, what's been dubbed the Max Headroom incident occurred, where Chicago TV station WGN was overridden with incredibly creepy and surreal footage as a person dressed as Max Headroom seemed to make strange, odd statements for about 90 seconds before the signal was then corrected. The Max Headroom incident is absolutely fascinating and worth way more than just a mere mention here, so let's pick that up a bit later. As the first act wraps up, listen to what the hacker is trying to broadcast to the people.
The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
I mean, come on. Wow. How prophetic and extremely relevant. Now at this point, we don't know how they've been doing all these things, but clearly this man knows something, and he's trying desperately to warn us. It continues the next day with this transmission.
They are dismantling the sleeping middle class. More and more people are becoming poor. We are their cattle. We are being bred for slavery. The revolution.
Is this not exactly what's happened 30 years later? With the middle class non-existent and the 1% reaping the rewards of tax reform, it's almost as if Carpenter was able to peer into the future and rip its reality straight into his film. Nada begins to realize the transmissions have something to do with the church next door, but Frank implores him to leave it alone. The riot police are called in to disrupt the homeless camp in another attempt to silence the truth with power and corruption. Nada manages to steal a box from the church, but finds nothing but sunglasses. When he puts them on, he realizes that subconscious messages are not only being transmitted through all forms of media, but the signal also doubles as a camouflage for the aliens and their spy drone technology. What? Spying drones in 1988? Is John Carpenter some kind of magic wizard? Now to me, that explains why Frank doesn't want to get involved. He's been subconsciously told to sleep, conform, watch TV, marry, reproduce. Frank even mentions his wife and kids being a reason to not put his job at risk. All the things that the aliens want him and everybody else to do. Now, like us, the aliens need to do shit. They need groceries, they need to go to work, they need to learn how to assimilate into our mundane lifestyle to hide the greater motives of control. In the supermarket scene, Carpenter even shows us an alien getting a promotion over a human, furthering the parallel between the aliens and a full-on class war.
So depressed, I don't know what to do.
Hey, go for it, man.
It's easy for you to say. You got the promotion. Look, it'll come, all right? Just don't worry about it.
Listen to what the alien politician has to say on TV, despite knowing the conditions of the struggling.
The feeling is definitely there. It's a new morning in America. Fresh, vital. The old cynicism is gone. We have faith in our leaders. We're optimistic as to what becomes of it all. It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism. There are no limits.
It figures it would be something like this.
Our nation, our ideals, a vision.
Excuse me.
Just survive.
You know, you look like your head fell on the cheese dip back in 1957.
Nada eventually meets back up with Frank and tries to alert him to what he's discovered. And again, Frank wants no part of it, and that leads to what's easily the most iconic 5-minute fight scene that you will ever see committed to film. Once the two finally pair up and are on the same page, they find their way into the underground alien base, where alien security guards where alien security guards talk into PKE meters like walkie-talkies. There's a speech in progress in a fancy banquet hall. Let's listen to what he's saying.
Our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power elite. You have given us entree to the resources we need in our ongoing quest for multidimensional expansion. And in return, the per capita income of each of you here tonight has grown, and this year alone, by an average 39%.
So, here it's confirmed that it's basically been an alien-human partnership this entire time, with wealth and class being the perk for the humans just to simply ignore and close their eyes to what's really going on. We even meet the, quote, bum from the homeless camp dressed up in a tux and sipping champagne. Even he sold out for silence and complacency. Nada and Frank make their way to the roof of Cable 54 and blow the signal, leaving the aliens unmasked for all the people to see. Now right there is where the film ends, but now what? All of these people in power are still in power. It's clear that a percentage of humanity is more than happy to look the other way as long as their 401ks are rising. The aliens are now exposed for what they are and their intentions known, but will anybody do anything about it? There's a whole new economy that's been established from the growth and the wealth of the community. I'm pretty sure that the newspaper guy still wants to get all that alien business, and I'm also sure that the human buying the paper wants to continue to be able to afford that paper and also have the job that he's commuting to. It was fun to imagine what might have happened next after it ends, but here we are 30 years later, and I think we have our answer. Did the populace rise up and overthrow the unmasked and exposed corrupt who wage class wars for their own gain?
Nope.